Got turned on.
Todd.
We're ready. Well, somebody runs this. Imoto must run this.
All right,
No,
we're ready.
I'm just gonna introduce these lovely gentlemen. Do we have everyone? We were gonna have Sean Palmer here, but I think he's fixing games.
Oh, I guess I can use this one.
So all these awesome techs from all across the country. I'm gonna actually let you guys go down the line and introduce yourself, but they came Wednesday for Tech Day, where we did hands-on repair. We also had Chuck and a few others that helped out. We had about 10, 15 techs here working with you on your games. So if you're interested, sign up for next year. You bring your game in early. We'll teach you how to do the pop bumper rebuild and adjust switches so they don't explode on the game during the show floor and catch on fire. Yeah, how to do NVRAM, flipper rebuilds.
Or my battery boards, which I know Eugene hates.
Or if you have electromechanical, like with Nick Schell, he'll teach you how to read schematics and how to troubleshoot to get to the exact issue that you're looking for. So take it away, guys. For y'all asking questions, you can come up to the mic. That would be better for the camera and everything like that. If you want to shout it really loud, please kind of repeat their question in y'all's answer. You know what I mean? Just so we can kind of get the audio, because we are live streaming this. This will eventually go on our Marco Pinball YouTube. Yes.
Who won last year for most creative booth?
I don't know who won. Oh.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a cool trophy.
Yeah, look at that.
It's got lenses on it and everything.
Thank you, Paul. Last year we presented Dungeons and Dragons with Stern Pinball, and we were all running around in costumes, chasing an owl bear, trying to take him out, and had big flame lanterns that are now over here in this area. This year, please take a moment and come to our area. It's the Homebrew Village, like AKA the tent city over there. We have 14 homebrew games, one of a kind made by all these awesome creators. So much innovation there, so please take time to come and play those games too. All right, gentlemen, take it away.
Oh, are we talking about our personal history? No.
Yeah, introduce yourself. How
No,
you got
Nick
a
Schell.
pinball?
Yeah, Nick
Your
Schell.
Specialties.
I guess I can't lift that out of there, can I? I'd like
Comes
to.
out.
I'd like to, but I'm going to just do it like this. Nick Schell, Roanoke Pinball Museum. I was Dallas for most of my life, but then past 8 years I've been building Pinball Disneyland in little Roanoke, Virginia. So when people see this T-shirt and they see Roanoke, they're like, "Where?" I'm like, "No, it's 1,000 miles east. It's not this Roanoke, Texas." But anyway, that's what we're doing out there. We're making like a Pinball Disneyland kind of thing come true. And
That's it?
And this is, well, what else should I say?
Well, you could tell them that
Stock
you're
market
the
is at
master
50,000.
mechanic.
Anyway, what was it?
Master mechanical mechanic.
Oh, that's right. I can talk about whatever.
Thank you.
Electromechanical is kind of my thing, and yeah, any EM questions, I can pretty much answer them. So, yeah.
I'm Todd Tuckey, TNT Amusements. A lot of you probably saw our videos. And I can fix stuff. Maybe not the best. He's better than me with mechanicals. But mechanical games are interesting because you have to change your thought into a mechanical frame of mind and realize everything's a progression. Sort of like reading an old outline. So if you have a problem at one place with the schematic, which you desperately need, if you have a mechanical game, you should try to buy a new schematic that unfolds without the tears and rips. And you start where the problem is, and then you trace the schematic. And then at some point, your brain switches gears, and it starts to figure out things. I can't explain it. But watching this guy, you could see it switching, and he progressed. We have a video showing him how he went from one part to the next one to check the switch, and the schematic tells you the next switch to check and the next. And sure enough, there was 2 switches that were the problem on that one game. The first one got it half working, and when he found the second switch, that was the second. And then the game works. Basically, any mechanical pinball out there will absolutely be fixable, in many cases without parts, unless a coil's fried, if the main motor is running. If the main motor is running, you have a 95% chance of fixing it by yourself with some time to find that nasty switch. And it's really neat. I prefer the digital ones, but they're even easier. So digital games are easy to solve. And that's my story.
I think we were just supposed to introduce ourselves.
Yeah. Oh. Well, the mechanical man.
My name's Brian Haskell, and I talk too much, so I've already lost my voice. So
more than
I
that.
apologize. I'll try to go really close to the mic here. I work for Player One Amusement Group, and on the weekends I help out at Solid State Pinball Supply in Kansas City, fixing their games. Nick Greenup owns that place, and he's been a great mentor for me. I consider myself an expert on the newer Spike system games, but I've learned so much in the 2 years I've worked with him on the older games. And just a couple days ago, he diagnosed a game I was working on. I turned it on, and he was sitting like 100 feet away across the room, and he immediately, like, I know what's wrong with your game. Didn't even have to be next to the game. That's how smart this guy is. And I've already learned several things from him that blow my mind. So I'm honored to be in the presence of you guys.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Hi, everybody. I'm Eugene Mosh. I am too starting to lose my voice, not completely yet, but I am Eugene Mosh on Facebook, and I live in Springfield, Missouri. I have 2 arcades that I help run with multiple arcade games and 20 plus pinball machines. I specialize in all eras of Williams, Bally, Stern, Sega, Data East, White Star systems. I help repair boards for people over the country, and I troubleshoot over the phone a lot with people. And really, it's a great honor to be here with Frank and Todd. I've talked to these people through Messenger, and to meet them for the first time is such an honor. And I've known Nick quite a long time. One thing about Nick told me about EM machines is that you can be walking totally normal, and all of a sudden one of the switches go out, and all of a sudden your arm does this, and then you got to learn and find out where the switch is to make your arm go back to this. And I went, oh, that's a very interesting analogy. So it's like having walking straight, and all of a sudden you have a limp, and one switch on an EM can cause it to just completely malfunction. But nevertheless, really it is nice to be up here and do whatever we do this whole weekend. It's literally pinball heaven. My friend in Wisconsin, I was telling him, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? And I sent him a picture. I have a little bench over there by the Marco booth, and I've been fixing boards and all weekend, and I showed him a picture of what I'm doing. And so it's very fun to keep these things going for people, because people that come, they want to play working games, and so it's nice to keep people with smiles on their face and keep the games running. So I'm gonna turn it over to Frank here.
Hi, I'm Frank Lindenmuth. I work with Todd Tuckey. We've been working together for upwards of 30 years now. And I bought my first game, and I wanted to get it fixed, and I went in to talk to Todd about it, and then I bought a couple more games and wanted some parts, and I just asked for a job, and then here I am. And it's great to be here, because despite having been doing it for so long, you're always learning. And I've learned a lot just from these guys. We all learn from each other. Like Nick's the EM guy, I don't go near them. I do a lot of home repairs, and when people call me for them, I farm them out. But yeah, like Gene said about making people happy, I mean, when you go into somebody's house and you fix their pinball machine, they're thrilled, because a lot of times they've had it for weeks, months, or years and couldn't find anybody to fix it. And it's not like fixing their dishwasher. You can call anybody to do that, but a pinball machine is a very unique thing, and most people don't know anything about it, so they give up hope. And then when you see how happy they are when their game lights up and it plays that familiar jingle, that's really what it's all about. And that's why we're here. And we want to, if you need help fixing your games, whether it's some tips or repairs, that's what we're here for.
Question time. Anybody want to step up, ask a technical question? Anything about pinball? Just, all right.
Our first.
I have 2 questions, but I'll start with the question, right? So it's a softball, all right? And so on an EM game, let's say that the game says ball count 0 on a switch.
In the microphone?
Yeah.
I thought I was close. Am I not close enough?
You're too tall.
Okay. So I wish it would go up a little bit. So the EM game, let's say that a switch says ball count 0, right? And it shows that it's open. So like a Gottlieb schematic, I think, it's an older game. I think that they're done with the power off on the game. Plus, I think that the ball has been fed on ball 1, plus they turn the machine off. Is that your impression also? Because it's sort of odd, if you look at something that says this switch should be off, what condition is the game in? Where is the game, as far as, am I on ball 1? Am I on ball, 5, whatever?
That's a good question. So to paraphrase, when you're looking at a Gottlieb schematic and you see all of the switches, some of them are shown as normally closed, some of them are shown as normally open, and that depends on the state of the game. When you start the game, is it the same as the schematic, or is it when you first turn the game on, before you start a game? Is that the state of the schematic? I have generally found that when you turn on the game and it's just sitting there before you start the game, that seems to be, that's a good question. I mean,
It would be what's in the schematic.
because Steve Young has said you start the game, ball 1, the ball's in the shooter lane, and that's what the schematic is written based on, but I'm not so sure because some of those
It's
start
off.
relays.
I think the game has been fed and turned off, because even like the, what's the relay that says that that the power is on, that's shown open, right? And it's like, well, that clearly would not be open, right? That game, that would have to be closed. So I'm just curious if like all those old Gottliebs are sort of how to, as you look at the schematic, you need to know the state of the machine in order to be able to say, how do I read this, So.
That is a good question. He's talking about the hold relay. Like if that's not holding, then there's no power and then nothing can be turned on. So I've always, I don't have a definitive yes or no on that. From my experience, it just from memory, it seems that it's when it's plugged in and turned on, but not starting a game.
Okay.
That's
All right.
what I have encountered. And is that true for all of them? I don't know, but that's a good question.
All right, fair.
It
I had
may
a
be
second-
different on different brands.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like a
This
Williams
is specifically
versus Gottlieb.
Gottlieb is where I was thinking of, but yeah.
So you're just asking in general, or was there an actual situation that you're trying to fix and look at the
Well, I
schematic?
have a machine that I've looked at that just said, hey, I want to walk through this, trying to help somebody online too, and it's just like, okay, send me the schematic, or send me a piece of it or whatever it is. Let's see if we can figure it out. And it's sort of, okay, what condition is it in? Where they have. So that's where I get that from. I had a second one for y'all, which is from the Twilight Zone. So I don't know if you want to talk about specific games, but the clock gives me fits. And so I look at the clock, and the clock will be in test mode. It'll say 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever it is, right? Works fine. In gameplay, it gets lost, and it resets back to 12 while it's using the clock. I've cleaned the optos, worked better, but it still has gone back to this. When you're playing it in the game, all of a sudden the clock just spins back to 12 and gives up on you. Any thoughts?
Well, I own a Twilight Zone. Man, it is one of my favorite games. I have a new clock board in my particular game. So this is an original, with
Yeah.
original optos.
Yeah.
It could be one of two things. So you're saying in clock test, it actually recognizes 3, 6, 9
Yeah.
perfectly?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So it either could be still a flaky opto, so it's not seeing home position correctly. Is that right? Probably not seeing home position correctly, or you still have flaky opto, or it could be something floating within the opto board itself. Everything else works perfectly in the game? Every other switch?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be one of those two things, opto, the clock optos, or the opto board,
Can I
driver board.
add to that?
Yeah.
If you have the original board with the original lamps, they got really, really hot.
Yeah,
Somebody drilled them.
Get the LED set for it.
Oh, okay.
I would just add a preventive maintenance, peace of mind. Let's just eliminate everything else, because the optic itself could be okay, but let's just say that you have a situation where you turn the game on, it finds home and it's fine. You're playing for a while, heat is building up. And heat's going to create resistance. And if that board's been cooking for the last 20-some years, and those trace, it could be a trace, it could be a solder joint, it's getting hot, that's when things are going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So if you have a temperature, like if it's time related, I'd look at temperature. Like a capacitor, if something is on for a long time, it might be fine when it's cold, but as that cap gets heated up, resistance builds up, it's getting dried out over the years, and then you have problems, and then you shut it off and cools down and it's fine again, I would replace that with a new LED board.
When we were operating twilight zones, we drilled holes in the top of the clock
Yeah,
in the
this
back.
one is drilled, yeah.
And that was, I guess, 25 years ago when we were operating them. And you could feel the heat coming out of the clock. But the connectors in there, the little Molex connectors, would also get hot, or cold, cold. So we reheated them too. We took the boards apart and put them back together, cleaned it, and it would work, but it was just always hazy. We also had one twilight zone where the hand had warped. It had bent out a little bit. So it would work and test, and then sometimes it would lose track in counting because the little arm was not hitting the optic correctly.
Yeah.
So we had that happen, but in every twilight zone we've been selling in the last 10 years, we just put a brand new board in, which are almost trouble-free. They're not perfect. Nothing's perfect, it seems. Okay. Now, I could also suggest you write a strongly worded letter to Williams screaming about the design and see what happens too.
Here's a little tidbit about that clock. It was supposed to be first used on Funhouse, but they couldn't get it ironed out. That's why the clock is the lights on the playfield. You can read about that on IPDB, I think.
Yeah, I have a Funhouse too.
Yeah.
But, those are both good fun games. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sir. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
I have a 97 DMD era White Star. What would you say might be the problem if I've got an X-Files, it's got a magnet thing that grabs during multi-ball, holds it, except it doesn't hold it, it just goes up. The Opto triggers, I've tested in test mode, triggers, it just wobbles and then drops.
What game?
X-Files.
Oh, X-Files.
The White Star. You said White Star X-Files,
White
right?
Star.
So that's almost the same thing. So does everything else work in that? And if you got into a switch test and actually test that Opto and it works or not works?
Works.
It works. So what is it actually missing or what's it doing?
So what it's supposed to do is when the ball goes up, it's supposed to apply voltage and hold the ball there for 5 seconds and then drop it. It just goes up, wobbles a little bit and drops.
So I wonder if the Opto is working, but is it a magnet up there?
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be the magnet.
Yeah, so the magnet is is weak. So the drive transistor that drives the magnet could be weak, or the magnet itself will be weak. So if the Opto's working, it's knowing that it's kind of up there, but it's not holding like it's supposed to, which is a different function.
Does that have a metal bar through the play field? Does that have a height adjustment or something maybe?
Yes, that's one of the ones where it's like a clamp twist where you push it up higher and higher.
I mean, you could check that.
Yeah, I've tried adjusting it. I've tried, making it as flush as possible without breaking the playing field, but it does the same thing.
I mean, you could try ohming out the coil.
Yeah, I even tried replacing the fuse that goes to the magnet. Nothing.
Yeah, it could be magnet. Could be magnet or drive transistor maybe.
Yeah.
Something's weak. Because I think the Opto's working, but the magnet's not holding either as strongly or as long as it's supposed to.
You did wipe off the optic though, right?
Yeah, I even replaced the Opto, so they're fresh.
Okay. Yeah, we had a couple optics where they developed a cold connection too, but if you reheat them, you have to reheat one side of the LED first and let it cool, and then do the second side. Otherwise, it'll fall off the board. Then you're scrambling to find it.
Hello. I have two questions. Stern or Jersey Jack? Which one first?
Go Stern.
Stern. It's a limited edition Rush. It's gone to 4 home meets and worked perfect. On the 5th hole meet, left flipper stopped working.
Which game is this?
Rush, LE. If you tap the cabinet 3/4 way up, it might work the flipper. Okay, now I have swapped node board on 8, 9. I have done a continuous test from the top of the board to the flipper. Works perfect, but it still won't flip switches.
So make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So when you're hitting the flipper button, you're saying it's not flipping, but
Not
when
flipping, won't
you
flip,
check continuity on the wires and you're saying it's all
and
good.
it's perfect.
And in test, it flips up.
It doesn't do anything in test.
It doesn't work in the test either. Okay. So first thing I'd be checking is on the switch test, is it showing up that you're pushing the flipper button?
Yeah,
Okay, so it is reading the flipper button and it's not flipping at all. So a great thing on the Spike games is those node boards. There's a node 8 and 9,
yes.
and you can swap those boards.
I've swapped 5 of them.
You've swapped into the same
Yeah,
problem?
it's not the node board, 100%.
Okay.
It's not the switch, 100%.
Well,
It's
when
not
you
the
swapped
wire
them,
from the node board to the flipper.
so when you swapped them though, did you check the dip switches to make sure
Switches,
it's
yeah.
back to, okay.
40 years as an engineer.
Always got to make sure you never know who knows what, so.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. And
It's a brick at the moment.
obviously you know the coil works.
Yeah.
Because in the test, it's hitting.
Brand new machine.
That's an interesting one.
It's had less than 100
End of
games.
stroke switch normally closed on them?
The end of strokes are normally open.
They're normally open,
Yeah.
okay.
And those Spike 2 games, Spike 1, 3 games, none of them need that end of stroke, to be honest with you. But
Someone at
what-
Stern had done previous work to it because
sorry.
they singled out that, someone at Stern had done work to that particular machine because it had tagged the left flipper. Yeah. Yeah.
Had this issue before.
Yeah, and
Why?
they fixed it at the factory and then sent it out.
One thing to check, and this caught me a couple times, is change the Ethernet cable. Just take another loose piece of cable and change them out. I chased around a node board problem for 2 months on a Star Wars comic. The game played, but the buttons wouldn't always work. They wouldn't light up the lockdown and the start button. And I did an update, and then it wouldn't update the node board. And I called Stern, and they wanted me to buy a new node board. I said, there's nothing wrong with this node board. I swapped it into another game. It took an update. It was fine. So after, this was a customer's game, and I'm going back and forth over the course of a couple months. Finally, I just ripped the cable out, put a new Ethernet cable in, and everything was fine.
Okay, try that.
So I actually posted, you can get them on Amazon, they're $9, a network cable tester, and just keep it in your toolbox.
Okay. Okay,
For now, you need them with the games that use these cables.
yeah.
We just had the Alien that had the bad
Yeah,
Ethernet
it's a
cable.
long shot, but
Brand new
don't
cable.
overlook it.
Okay. Second one is a Jersey Jack. It's a Toy Story 4. Battery went dead. The usual fix, CN1, hit the pins 15 and 16 to restart the PC. Doesn't work. Pins 4 and 5 on the connector. And that boots the PC and the power supply. All voltages are correct, but it doesn't go into BIOS.
So, I apologize, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Okay.
Did you change the battery on the PC?
I changed the battery.
Okay, and you were able to get it to boot by jumping the power button on the motherboard, those 2 pins?
And not the 2 pins, the edge connector, where you use the pin 4 and 5. And then that'll boot the power supply and the CPU fan.
Okay,
But it doesn't go into BIOS where you can do the keyboard.
so you don't get anything on the screen at all?
No, not on the screen.
Okay,
But you're jumping the power supply connector.
Yeah.
That's not
So-
going to start the motherboard. That's only going to get the power supply. So you have to, on the header pin where you would connect your cabinet connections,
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
that doesn't, you might have a bad motherboard. Didn't we have one fail?
Just one.
One, I mean, it's rare, but.
Dozens and dozens of them.
You can't just write it off. You have to try to verify it. If you can't jumpstart it, you might have to look into getting another motherboard.
Are you doing the right pins to jumpstart it?
Yes.
Okay.
Did this game work and then was moved and didn't work after being moved, or did this?
It was working in an arcade and I brought it home to do a full restore.
Okay. So the reason why I ask is I just a few weeks ago worked on a Wizard of Oz, and after it was transported, it also didn't boot. And what ended up happening is a screw from the, I think it was the power board, not the power supply, but the power board, distribution board, whatever, when it was upright, the screw had come off and fell under the motherboard. I had to take the motherboard off, and I found a screw underneath.
Okay.
And it was shorting out some 5 volts. Luckily enough, when I took that screw out and remounted it, it booted. So if that had been shorting something more sensitive, it would not have booted. But the other thing is, again, I want to make sure I'm hearing you right. So you jumpered the power supply's green wire to one of the browns, basically. Yeah. So if a motherboard doesn't turn on, it's because of something like that, or it can be because of something shorted out, like a screw underneath. And it's its own safety feature to not turn on. And what you did is you bypassed the safety feature to make the power supply come on. So I always recommend to not, you can do that with disconnecting it from the motherboard. And I always disconnect the power supply from everything. And then I short the black to one of, the green to one of the black wires and test the power supply not connected to anything. Because again, it doesn't want to turn on sometimes because there's something wrong. So it's like on a fire, it's feeling a hot door, it doesn't want to open the hot door, and you just open the door.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot more digging to do, but it could, like I said, you could end up finding something, especially when it was after a move. I have a feeling you might find something that's come loose under the motherboard.
Okay, thank you.
Weird that I just had that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Screw, man.
I have a Big Lebowski pinball machine.
Congratulations.
I don't know all the technical names, but like I think it's like the vertical up kicker, the mechanism that kicks the ball from the lower up to the top. It keeps firing over and over and over. And it will stop after maybe 5 or 10 times, but then it will just randomly stop doing it even when the ball is not going up there. Is that just a switch or a
Stuck switch. I don't remember if that has an opto.
Yeah, I don't know if that says an opto or not, but what the computer is seeing that thinks there's a ball there.
right?
And it thinks there's a ball there, so it wants to keep kicking out. And there's actually a safety feature within the program. If it does it so many times, it will stop. So you need to, Big Lebowski has a great diagnostics feature in it. And, you just need to go in a test and, actually put a ball in there to make sure that that's activating, not activating, lift the hood up and then see if there's either a broken wire. I don't know, like Brian said, I don't remember if that is a switch, a physical fork switch or an opto. Because I remember back in the day, those things are built like Williams a little bit, so I don't know. But it's one of those two things. It's either a fork switch that the ball lands on, so that means it's stuck down, needs to be adjusted, or one of the optos, wire or opto's bad.
A lot of times it won't start till you send the first ball up there.
Yep.
Once you do that, then it'll start just randomly doing it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it's, once you plunge the ball, then it's starting to react to the switches.
Okay, and then
I believe it's a rare opportunity to work on those games. But I believe the diagnostic screen will actually tell you if the switch is an opto
And
on
then
that
the
game.
only other thing I had is I'm a little hard of hearing, so I missed where everybody's from. Do any of you guys do local repairs around here?
I know Harrison is not here in our panel, but Harrison Maxwell is a Texas guy.
Okay.
And then the Mike McKenna, he's one of our other techs that's working around. He's also a local guy.
Okay.
There's actually quite a few that are around here. We can, if you want to come by the pinball medic area and leave your information, I can get that to someone that can get your information to someone that's locally around here.
And the great thing is, Marco's has a system where techs can sign up to be registered techs, and then you can go there and Find
who has-
Marco Specialties.
Okay.
Some of the Marcos guys, that's still active, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually on there, and I've had a few people call me
Yeah.
from that, so you can find somebody.
So, in my opinion, that's the best place to find a local tech. For anybody, you go to Marco Specialties. I don't remember the name of the link, but you'll see it on the menu. Something like Find a Tech or
I
something
think
like
it's at
that.
the top of the screen, like the top right, like on the header. Yeah, it's pretty easy to find.
It applies to anybody wherever you are. Speaking of Marco,
What's up, guys?
Hey, Mikey J.
So I have an Alvin G Mystery Castle, and it's at somebody else's location right now, so I haven't had a chance to troubleshoot it or anything. But when it's turned on for too long, it freezes up and then makes like a high-pitched sound.
Power supply.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking, but I haven't had a
That
chance.
runs hot.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually two connectors, if I remember right, that are really close together up on the right-hand side, and they get real hot.
Okay.
So, like, one of them gets real hot, which creates everything in that area to get real hot. So I'm sure it's headers and pins.
Could have dried out caps too.
Is that the same power supply as pistol poker?
Yes.
All right, so my friends have a pistol poker, and they would say to turn it on and they play it, and then it shuts down, and I put my meter on, and I'm watching the 5 volts drop. So, well, they live in Ohio, I live in Pennsylvania, so I didn't have the stuff to fix it, but the 5-volt bridge is really tiny, and that was getting really hot. So I took it's ugly, I don't like doing it, but I took a regular bridge, took some wires, mounted it, it was still doing the same thing. I already paired the connectors. I think the 5-volt regulator's bad. I ordered a new one. I haven't had a chance to put it in and test it yet.
Okay.
But I would look at, like these guys are saying, connectors.
Okay.
I mean, you can probably just drop the right bridge in there. It'll probably be okay. But if you're vending it, you might want to wire in something beefier.
Okay.
But get that 5-volt regulator. And it's a weird number. It's not like a regular 7805
Yeah,
or something.
Alvin
It's
G.
adjustable. So, yeah.
Sweet, thanks.
I would just do those things, and that'll probably fix it.
And there is something valuable with an Alvin G power supply. If you bring a skillet, you can cook some eggs. And, you might as well eat while you're fixing it.
Raise your hand if you own a pinball machine. If you own more than 3, 5, 10, 20. Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got...
Who is 10? How many 10s? 1, 2, 15, 3, 4, 15. Yeah, Chuck has how many?
40? Okay.
Who had 40?
I was just making that number up because Chuck kept his hand. You got 40, Mikey
Yeah,
J?
that's right, he does.
Oh, wow, Mikey J's got a lot.
Oh.
Okay.
Now raise your hand if you own an EM pinball machine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have one? You don't have one, do you? Do you? Yeah. It's not an EM. That's solid state. Down.
They did make mechanical Mount
That's
Horace,
true.
but
That's true. That'd be pretty special.
it's close to a mechanical, but a lot more reliable.
Now raise your hand if you want to own an EM pinball machine. Okay, never mind.
There were some bargains out in the lot today.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
well,
All right.
we're waiting. Got any more questions? There
Here
you go.
comes one. Good.
All right.
Again, an EM question.
Okay.
Right. So, a stepper motor, right? Let's say you have a stepper motor in an old Gottlieb machine that the wiper disc is sort of I don't know. It's been sort of ruined by the wipers walking across it. Have you ever rebuilt them?
Every day? I don't know. Yes. Yes, many.
Remove the rivets, sand down the disc, replace the
You
rivets.
do not sand the disc. No. And don't sand circuit boards either. There's a lot of videos online about how to clean rivets and circuit boards with either a Scotch-Brite pad. It's not terrible, but you really shouldn't sand things. You should think in terms of polishing things. So.
Well, it's got a deep rut in
That's
the
the other thing. Yes, if you have those little grooves that are worn in the steppers, yes, you do have to. You can either clinch it with if you have a rivet press, you could actually put a new rivet in there, which is the best solution.
Yeah.
But in the wild in general, I have a Dremel tool that I use, and there's a little sanding flap wheel that you can get, and I will individually contour those rivets so that they're as smooth as possible. Because if they're flat, if you sand them flat, it may be an issue of when those rivets are traveling around that there's not enough, because there's supposed to be two circular surfaces touching each other. If one is flat, it may not have the surface contact that you can get. But yes, faced between having a rivet with that's worn through, that can act like a brake and certainly can be a problem. So yes, I say smooth it out as best you can. I wouldn't just block sand the whole thing, just those individual rivets that have that wear in them. And if you have a precise tool like a Dremel with a sanding flap wheel, then you can more easily contour those without just taking them all the way down. But yeah, that's pretty much all you can do at that point.
Okay, thank you.
I'm very new to working on EMs. I've had service calls where I have to figure it out, and I've come across some where it feels almost, and I know it's not, but it feels almost like a Vaseline that is on there. What is that chemical? What is it that people put on there?
I mean,
is it like a conductive material or something?
The old EMs had white lithium grease on a lot of parts. You got to remove all that. By now, it's just gunked up. Generally, cleaning an EM is 95% of maintaining it. So just removing all the dirt. Like when people bring in pinball machines to the Texas Pinball Festival, and they do it to get their free exhibitor pass, I understand, but a lot of the times it's really a project machine. It's not really gonna work. And we spend our time just troubleshooting dirt. And if you had just cleaned it first, then we wouldn't have to do that. But removing that grease is definitely pretty important. And I don't really use hardly any, like lube is generally no, except if it's metal on metal, or you can use PBR grease, which is the dielectric, very, very thin, extremely thin layer across rivets. That's generally about it.
A lot of people don't know that Williams actually packed a tube of grease with a lot of their earlier electronic machines. And they said to help with the drop targets, to make those pink drop targets slide easily. But they suggested greasing them.
That's why I've had to clean that crap off of so many drop targets. Now I know why.
Yeah, well, Williams gave them the grease.
And it turns into like cement.
Yeah.
Because back then, operators would just throw them in the trash when they were done with them. Like, that machine doesn't make any more money, throw it in the garbage. So I guess it's good for 5 years, but not for, 25, 35?
Well, that's what I say. As Todd was telling me, they build these games for 5 years.
Yeah.
They don't expect 20 years later, they didn't plan on that grease turning into concrete later. 20 years from now, that game's going to be in the trash, surely. But we've been keeping these alive, all of us here, so.
Well, if you think about it, all the commercial things made out there, commercial dishwashers, coffee makers, whatever, they don't have a second life. Once the life is finished, they get tossed and you replace it with a new one. So we're taking this stuff out of the trash and putting them in our houses, basically. And these companies never in their wildest dreams thought this would happen.
Have you noticed the circuit boardification of everything? That is a problem. I like EMs because they don't have a circuit board in them. It's just like Christmas lights. You can just plug them in and they work. But now even lawnmowers. There are some lawnmowers they're coming out with that have a circuit board in them that maintain things. And it won't work if the circuit board goes out. You're like,
My toaster has a circuit board in it.
Yeah.
So we got any more questions?
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Sorry, I came in later, so if you already answered something like this,
No problem.
Yeah.
I have a brand new machine. It's a Jersey Jack. It's my first one, and I've had it for about 2 years. So I'm just wanting to maintain it, so I don't ever want to get rid of it. So is it okay if two questions. What's the best way I'm seeing ball track on the metal parts. What's the best way to clean that and make that new?
He just taught me something.
Okay, this is not my invention, but we had my oldest employee, he passed away at 89, he was still working, 89 years old. In the 60s, he started using a product you can buy at the auto parts store. It's called Gojo, G-O-J-O. The original formula, please. Do not buy the other. You can buy a can of it. It's red and white can. And we've had people say, oh, it's water-based. Well, we've been using it for years. You clean your playfield with this. And when you're done cleaning your playfield and you clean off everything and everything's nice and clean, your hands don't have all this mess on them because it's lanolin. It's like lotion. And the mechanics use this to clean the grease off their hands before they go home. It smells nice, and your hands aren't all cracked and peeling, too. And it does a great job cleaning it. Now,
Is that the board or just the metal parts?
everything. The Gojo cleans everything. You can even clean the posts if you want. Now, obviously, you have to clean off the stuff, but it's not going to hurt your fingers. It's certainly going to do its job. You won't believe the dirt it takes off. And we have been using it at TNT for over 40 years. And it
Just
hasn't
applying it
affected.
and wiping it off?
Just wipe it off. Now, when you're done, you need to wax the play field, because you've got it cleaned and everything. You can use traditional waxes like mill wax or whatever, but we find that Lemon Pledge is perfect. And you can clean your play field with it, and then you can clean your furniture too if you want. But the Lemon Pledge cleans, and it also leaves a coat of wax. We use it also on shuffle alleys, on the bed where you slide the puck. And it does a great job. After you wipe it once, then wipe it again.
With lemon pledge?
That's what we use, but we still do mill wax sometimes, that we like to use that too. There's other pinball cleaners too, but in a pinch, you can use Lemon Pledge.
You can
If
even
you
use
ask a dozen
like a
techs-
good I'm sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say like a Carnauba wax, or just make sure it's not a compound.
Well, what's the one they sell a lot of around here that's in two different, it's
Novus.
Probably
Novus.
Novus too.
No.
Novus 1 and Novus 2.
good or bad for new machines?
Yes?
Use Novus to clean
Novus one.
plexiglass. We buff Chex hockey bubble domes with Novice.
It's a
And
plastic
It's
polish.
great. It's a plastic polish, that's what it is.
But not necessarily for playing fields.
You can ask a dozen techs these questions, and you get a dozen
different answers.
As to what they clean with, what they polish, what they don't wax, what they do wax.
The most important thing is make sure it's not abrasive.
Yes.
The Gojo can't be the pumice. It has to not be
The
any kind
original,
of a
it says on the can, original
also
formula.
remove paint. So, yeah, he's right. 50 people will give you 50 different answers. Just make sure it's not abrasive. That's the main thing.
And that's for the metal and the play field?
Everything,
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go traditional, like a lot of other techs, if you want, this is not as good for your hands. You kind of have to use I use a little glove, a little microfiber towel with it, but it's naphtha. It smells like lighter fluid, but it does also.
Were you the one that showed me your fingers?
No, that's me. So
Okay, yeah.
naphtha is
That's
a good
what it
cleaner,
does to your
but
fingers.
It's probably hard to see, but I've got cracks all across all my fingertips, and they end up getting grease in them, and it hurts, it sucks. And I was showing him, and that's where he recommended the Gojo. The naphtha does work pretty good on rubbers too. I personally have seen people have cleaned their rubbers with alcohol and ends up drying them up really bad.
Yeah.
And people would think naphtha would do the same thing,
Right.
but it doesn't. The naphtha seems to work pretty good on rubbers. Like I said, you'll still get anything involving cleaning, all different opinions.
You're only risking $10 to buy a can of this. Actually, it's less. But,
And this is as basic, this is as stupid basic as get, but I have problems with it. Cleaning your glass play field. I know I should know how to wash windows, but it's still streaky to me.
You're talking about just your glass.
Yeah, just the glass. I know that's
Windex.
Even that, you'll get different answers. I like the foaming alcohol-free glass.
Spray away.
Yeah.
And I'll even,
Microfiber towel.
Yeah.
you know what? I prefer
Yeah.
paper towel. I'll take a whole length arm over, wad it all up. Because if you fold it up, you're gonna get streaks. But I just wad it up in paper towel and I go back and forth until it evaporates.
But if you have
Then you get streaks when it evaporates. But then my boss hates that because it leaves like little paper dust. So he prefers to use the microfiber. But the microfiber, I found you've got to really keep going until you see no streaks as you're wiping. Because as it dries off, then it dries off, leaving the streaks.
Yeah.
And again, I bet you every guy here has a different way.
Yeah.
They even clean
I'm
the
even
glass.
that bad. I can't even get the glass to look good, but thank you.
Is it an Invisiglass? You
Yeah.
should make sure it's an ammonia-free cleaner, whatever you use.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
an
it's the, just the stuff at Costco I've seen, it says ammonia free on the
Yeah, just
can.
make sure it's ammonia-free
If it's
to be safe.
Fizzglass,
Yeah.
ammonia-free.
And that's why I do it
wipe
Windex
Invisiglass.
also makes it too,
'Cause you
the
don't-
vinegar cleaner.
Ammonia-free Windex is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were gonna, do you have a question down there, sir? I saw you with your hand up.
Well, the pumice is good if you want to take the paint off your playfield.
It's a 2-year-old brand new machine. I don't want to do that.
Which one was it? I know you said Jersey Jack. Which game?
Elton John.
Elton John. Great game.
Yeah. It's not even here. They're out.
They're out.
Yeah, we have 2 left in the box
So,
in Philadelphia.
but I'm not planning on reselling it.
Then we're done. Then we'll have no more.
What? Sold out.
Sold out, yeah. I hope not outlawed.
Thank you.
Regarding NAFTA, I keep going online, I can't get a straight answer. I know it can clean a lot of different surfaces, different materials, but does it harm glass? Would it harm glass if I used it for glass? Just the normal glass, not the Invisiglass.
I wouldn't use it on glass, but unless it's Invisiglass, I can't foresee it harming it. But
There's better products.
yeah,
Why
there's
use it?
just better products. I don't use it on plastics. I haven't experienced it myself because I'm just avoiding it. But my understanding is over time, it'll cloud plastics.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
works great on rubbers. Works good on playfields. Horrible on your fingertips.
Okay.
Wear gloves.
Thanks.
Or your fingers will get to be like that.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for some more questions, you're talking about wanting to just keep your game in good shape. There's certain things that I'll do, just open up a game that's working fine, just check a few things out. I'm not going to describe this very well, but the way I check coil stops personally, I will, on the flipper coil, I will push the actual shaft in, the plunger, and put my finger on the back of the coil stop and push back and forth, and there should be no movement on the coil stop there. I also wiggle the bracket, make sure those coil stop screws aren't loose. Catching them loose before they break is incredibly important because when they break off, if you're really lucky, you can take the whole playfield bracket off and then grab with vice grips on the other end for the rest of that bolt and go all the way through. But sometimes those bolts aren't far enough to be able to grab once they break off. You have to try to drill it out and not damage the threads or end up replacing the whole plate. So checking for loose screws, especially coil stops and stuff like that, very important. But any loose screw. And it's kind of the joke when we open up an old game, how many screws can you find in the back of the cabinet? And you never know if, and that's the problem, you want to try to find where that screw came from. Well, a previous tech may have dropped it and given up and just grabbed another one out of his box. It may not find where it goes. But then again, you might end up finding out it's the last screw holding on a mech. And, or I'm sorry, that you find where it's missing and there's only one screw left. And the game plays completely fine until you get down that one last screw that breaks off or falls off.
Yeah.
So we got some new people coming in. We're taking tech questions. So if anybody's got any, anybody's got any tech questions, please come up to the mic. Yeah, what you got?
I think the guy in the back with the hat on had a
It's
question
time
with
for
the
one
19
more.
games.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you, guys.
You didn't want to know why Gottlieb has triple stripe wire in their games and why Atari has only 2 colored wires throughout the whole game now? Okay.
So we're going to be at a tech booth over by the Marco tents. Well, maybe Marco tents, we'll see. We might have to take the tops off. But anyways, we're going to be working on Yopsicle install on My Frontier. So we're going to be working on that on and off all weekend. Come find us, chat with us. There's no question too small.
Yep.
If you think like, oh, it's going to sound so dumb asking this question, no.
We got a couch over there. It's by the giant Marco sign. You can't miss it in the sky. We're over that area.
Also consider next year at the next year's Texas Pinball Festival that they're thinking of having people that don't want to bring a game but want to just attend and watch and listen. And we're going to do that probably. So that way you can come a day early, come on Wednesday, if it happens again. I'm sure it will.
That's our tech day. We're
Then
talking about
you can wander and listen, just listen, and take notes if you want.
Yep. Take
But
notes
that
from
would
this
be
guy.
fun. Good.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.